If you've ever felt confused about training, you're not alone. One person says, lift heavy. Another says, do high reps. Someone else says, train to failure. And then a new study comes out and suddenly everything changes again. So people end up doing what most lifters do. They guess, they copy random workouts, they follow trends, they switch programs every month, and then they wonder why progress feels inconsistent. But here's the truth. Muscle growth isn't random, it isn't mysterious, and it definitely isn't magic. It's biology. And once you understand the basic science behind it, training becomes simple. Not easy, but simple. In this video, I'm going to break down the science of building muscle in the most practical way possible. No complicated terms, no lab talk. Just the principles that actually matter in the gym. So instead of guessing, you'll finally understand what you're doing and why. Before we talk about sets, reps, or programs, let's get clear on one thing. What is muscle growth? Muscle growth, hypertrophy, is simply your body adapting to stress. That's it. You challenge the muscle. Your body thinks, next time we need to be better prepared. So it builds a little more tissue, a little more strength, a little more resilience. Training is just sending a message. Growth is the response. If there's no clear message, there's no reason to adapt. Scientists often talk about three drivers: mechanical tension, metabolic stress, muscle damage. But for practical training, one of these matters far more than the others. Mechanical tension, the king. This is simply force produced by muscle fibers under load. Heavy weight, hard reps, high effort. When fibers experience high tension, they receive the strongest growth signal. This is the foundation of everything. Without tension, nothing else matters. Metabolic stress, the pump, the burn, the swelling, the pump. It feels good, and it can help. But it's secondary. The pump doesn't build muscle by itself. It enhances a session that already has tension. Think of it as support, not the main driver. Muscle damage, overrated. Soreness doesn't equal growth. Damage isn't the goal, it's just a side effect. If you're constantly sore, you're probably just slowing recovery. The goal is stimulation, not destruction. People obsess over weight on the bar, but your muscles don't understand numbers. They understand effort. A 40-kilogram dumbbell taken close to failure can stimulate as much growth as an 80-kilogram one stopped early. Because what matters is how many fibers are forced to work. And that happens when sets get hard, not when they're comfortable. Training close to failure is one of the most reliable predictors of growth. People obsess over weight on the bar, but your muscles don't understand numbers. They understand effort. A 40-kilogram dumbbell taken close to failure can stimulate as much growth as an 80-kilogram one stopped early. Because what matters is how many fibers are forced to work. And that happens when sets get hard, not when they're comfortable. Training close to failure is one of the most reliable predictors of growth. If intensity creates the signal, volume controls the size of the signal. Too little volume leads to weak stimulus. Too much volume leads to too much fatigue. There's a sweet spot. For most people, 10 to 20 hard sets per muscle per week. Not 40, not 5. Moderate, sustainable, repeatable. Science consistently shows more isn't better after a point. Better is better. Muscle protein synthesis stays elevated for about 24 to 48 hours, meaning after 2 days, the growth signal fades. So training a muscle only once a week, not optimal. Hitting each muscle 2 to 3 times per week usually beats once weekly anniversary workouts. You don't need marathon sessions, you need more frequent reminders. Here's the part most people ignore. You don't grow during training, you grow during recovery. Sleep, calories, protein, stress management. Training is the spark. Recovery is the construction. If recovery is poor, science doesn't matter. The best program in the world fails without recovery. So if we simplify everything, build muscle by training hard, tension, doing enough sets, volume, training often enough, frequency, improving slowly over time, overload, recovering properly, sleep and food. That's it. Not secrets. Not hacks, just fundamentals executed consistently. The science is actually simple, we just tend to overcomplicate it. Once you understand the science, training stops feeling confusing. You stop chasing trends, you stop program hopping, and you start trusting the process. If you enjoyed this video and want more clear, science-based training content, don't forget to put the thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, and tell me in the comments, what part of muscle growth confused you the most before watching this?